Welcome to Wet and Worthy Woman, the feral feminine conversations that will obliterate the shame that is in the way of you feeling safe and sacred in your body and in the bedroom. Grab a beverage, we are going deep into the underworld of the dark feminine and reclaiming safety in the most taboo aspects of your womanhood. Drop the fear of being too much, stop feeling numb, bring your pussy to life, and finally stop settling for mediocre intimacy. It is time to be worshipped and adored like a goddess by reclaiming your shameless sexual truth. I'm your host, Charlotte Little, sexual trauma survivor turned liberation leader and yoni massage therapist that's about to awaken your erotic energy. Ow! Hello, incredible community, and welcome to today's conversation with such a fucking disco ball of a human being, welcoming Chloe De Sousa, or at Feral Grace on Instagram, into the space. Chloe is a love, intimacy, and relationship coach, empowering women to live their joy, lush lives, and leadership. Her unique approach uses neuroscience, tantric practice, ecstatic dance, and proven embodiment methods to heal and awaken an ever-increasing love for yourself. Founder of the Body Song Method, she has been named the Queen of 5 Rhythms Dance and holds ecstatic movement parties to get wild, lit, and true with uncensored expression that breaks through your bullshit and keeps you untamed. Welcome, Chloe. Anything to add to that introduction?
Nah, not at all. That was absolutely on point. Let's go, girl.
Yeah, I mean, I stole it all from your website and your Instagram, but my guests love me bigging them up with their own words. So I'm glad you could receive that. I fucking love your style on the internet, my love. I love your content, your non-wanky approach. You put non-wanky in a spiritual post recently, and I was like, this woman, she's from England. She knows me. I love your non-wanky approach to spirituality, and you've been supporting my content, and I've felt you in my audience cheering me on for fucking years. So I'm so grateful you're here. And we're doing this collaboration. And let's get straight into it. Basically, question 1, going straight into the depths. How did dance save your life, babe? Can you tell us how you arrived being this untamed sexuality mentor, also a wild feminine DJ? And yeah, how did dance save your fucking life?
Yeah, I love this. This came from me and Charlotte. What are we going to talk about? Let's talk about how dance saved my life. I had a pretty mixed childhood. There was a lot of freeze in my childhood, and lots of pain. And then I got to I found the free party scene when I was about 17. So for people out there wondering what that is, we would get a sound system, we would take it to a field, and we would dance all night.
Yeah, English culture
for you, and we can talk about the rest of it later, but that was the beginning. And then I arrived at uni, and a friend invited me to a dance class, and she was like, we're gonna have to schnuck you in because you haven't done an introduction. I didn't need an introduction. My body knew exactly what to do to start defrosting, digesting, all the things that I had not felt safe enough to feel. So I realized very quickly that for me, the dance floor is a place where I feel held. Beats, rhythm, bass are all things that hold me so entirely, more than anything else I found, that I felt safe enough to feel again. So like the bass is my big mama, and the more I move with the bass, the more I can feel all of me, and the more electric you feel. And you can't dance without feeling like, oh yeah, you can't dance really without feeling your sexuality. So in the end, you're going to land up there. Actually, I didn't have a whole heap of trauma around that. I was in other places, but that comes more and more online. So we've got some more stories around that later in the show.
Oh, you fucking tease. I love it. She's spicy, everyone. She's spicy.
It is spicy.
Thank you. I love that you said bass is my mama, because I think the reason that I feel drawn to your space on the internet and just your voice on the internet is that, you know, I consider myself a spiritual conscious woman, but a very grounded one that can also laugh her ass off when I'm at the ceremonies. Like, I need both. I need to be a woman that can laugh at my own shit. And I really feel you doing that and taking the fluff out of the spiritual. And so where someone else might say like, Pachamama, Mama Cacao, and everything. You're like, bass mama, let's bring that bass mama in. And I really love that polarity that you hold. So I'd love you to explain what is five rhythms dance and ecstatic dance for anyone in the audience who's like, okay, how is this different from going to a nightclub or dancing at a festival?
Oh yeah, beautiful. So Body Song, which is the space I hold, is a ritual space. And what's beautiful about that is there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, which means you can dive really deep. Like, I'm way too intense. That's one of my signatures, and I love that. That's how we're here. Um, and Five Rhythms was first coined by a badass New Yorker called Gabrielle Roth. You can go look her up. She said things like, dance is not where you lose yourself, it's where you find yourself. And she noticed, like we're all looking for patterns, that when you receive yourself in the first rhythm of flow, you can move into the second rhythm, staccato, which is much more fiery. It's expressed. It's the out breath rather than the in breath. You move on from that into a very peak above 120 BPM for you DJs out there, a big release. So it's like you receive yourself, you express yourself. It's like almost like the orgasm peak. If you're into that, you can always go for you. It's a big release in chaos. So you're shedding your skin, you're letting go of things you no longer need. It's the energetic house clearing. It's the pain, it's the frustration, it's the joy, it's the bliss. And when you've really emptied yourself in that third rhythm of chaos, you land in a soulscape, if you like. Your body will explain itself to you. It will repeat patterns. Your best ideas drop. Your insight drops. The solution to the problem that your cortex was seeking is emergent from your own soma. And then we land in stillness just to settle, offer ourselves the care of a deep experience and share after that point. So there's a wave to it, and receiving yourself at the beginning is really key. It's like, otherwise it's like bad sex. You just don't bam in there. You warm yourself up, you receive yourself, you find out where you're at, and then you move into the dance from that place.
Mm, very different to going to the nightclub then.
Very different to going to nightclub. I was joking yesterday with someone because someone asked me, how do you hold a dance space? And you can just press play, but then you'll get all the performative motions, you'll get all the like me dance moves, you'll get the lack of safety. So people are wondering, are people looking? Am I okay? Am I liked? Am I in? As opposed to my dance floors where it's like, get your freak out, like get the stuff that people asked you not to be onto that dance floor. Like, that's the liberating factor. That's what you're not going to do at the club unless you're with your besties.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really clearly a different feeling because I know many women that don't feel safe to get their freaky on at the nightclub, at the festival, because of the attention it might attract. What if I get the wrong attention? It's dangerous to stand out. It's dangerous to dance this hot. It's dangerous to look this good. And what will the woman think of me if I'm dancing like that? Will they think I'm trying to steal her man or her lover? And it's all of these masks that are so hard to take off sometimes in a regular environment that I personally felt myself shed in ecstatic dance because it's just so non-judgmental and so accepting, and you get everyone's weird. And in my community in the UK, we have an amazing human. I'm sure he will never listen to this podcast, and I'm not going to name him, but like, he always gets naked and does like handstands in the middle of the ecstatic dance. And like, no one even blinks an eye. We're like, oh yeah, it's just the guy that gets naked and does handstands at the ecstatic dance. It's just him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's such a non-judgmental space. And actually, I'm really happy in my dance. I wanted to say career, but it wasn't really a career, but my dance moment, my dance chapter that I started with ecstatic, because I started deep in ecstatic dance and then transitioned into choreography and went back to dance classes and went to heels dance and then became this burlesque dancer for 3 years. And so I went from ecstatic to very choreographed dance shows, being paid in dance shows, so getting it right. And I was always so much more comfortable in my dance class when the routine stopped and they said freestyle, and everyone would leave the dance floor except me because of my ecstatic background. I was just trained to be comfortable with doing what the fuck I wanted on the dance floor. But every other woman in my dance class was so in her head that intuitive movement didn't feel accessible to her. So how can we get the fuck out of our heads and give less fucks no matter where we are, depending on how we move? How can the woman listening, maybe they don't have access to go to a local ecstatic dance, how can she start to get out of her head and be more feral on any fucking dance floor?
Yeah, I love this question. And what I do with a lot of my online classes is that I give women the permission to turn their cameras off. As someone, I've got a couple of decades of holding dance spaces. It requires of me a much deeper listening because I'm facilitating blindfolded, if you like. But what that does for the women involved is that they know they're not being watched, and therefore they start to dance just for themselves. Because undoing the male gaze and undoing the gaze of society or the sister wound, ignition and all the spaces is where you start to uncover what your interior world is like. So one of the principles in this that I invite is what we want is an alignment with how you're feeling in your heart and what your body's doing. When you get that alignment, no matter what you're experiencing, that's where the bliss zone is. So even if your body is like, show me the shape of my joy or my pain or my sadness, when you align your body shape with your sadness, it's ecstatic, which I guess is a tantric principle, but it's like we're coming through it from a dance lens. When I no longer resist my tears and I'm crying whilst moving, I literally am in ecstasy. It just feels so good. Just like we have with a stress cycle, and then you cry and you release. This is like more full-bodied, full-blown. So really, to get those moves that you're talking about, it's you go inside to find the move. You don't look outside of you to get that move. The offshoot of that is that you become very electric, very magnetic, because people can feel that you're being honest, and also you start to seduce yourself with the levels of honesty you have. It's like how far does my hip need to move? How tipped does my pelvis want to be? How open is my chest? How big can I bounce my boobs? Whatever it is that's bringing you pleasure is also what you're following.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned the guy who does handstands because cameras off lends itself. Of course, someone at the end is always like, I got naked, so I'm not turning my camera back on, but I'm sorry. There's always like one woman, because it's a female only dance class or a non-male dance class. There's always one woman that's like, I'm completely naked, so I'll just and that's beautiful, because where do you feel entirely safe as a woman to get completely naked? Well, hopefully your own home is that space, and then you
Yeah.
can, find others should you wish to.
Yeah, and this is how my dance journey started. And I'm so glad you said that about at home. And maybe this was the secret blessing of COVID for us all to get so fucking freaky in our own homes. But really, I started dancing at home until I felt safe doing it in front of the mirror with myself. And then I took myself to other spaces to dance. And even then, I remember I joined this this pole dancing course. And I was the only one booked on. So she called me and she said, look, the course isn't going to go ahead because you're the only one. but why don't you swap it for a one-to-one and come and have a private session with me? And I was like, great. So I had a couple of private sessions with her, and that was the first time then feeling so seen in that sensual dance, because I'd just been doing it at home in my bedroom on my own. And now I was with this fucking professional pole dancer in a studio full of mirrors. And she really got me to look in the mirror for the first time in front of someone else. And this was like maybe 5 years ago or something. And she was saying, you know, why aren't you looking in the mirror? And it was this process of feeling like, oh, but you might think I'm vain. You might think I'm obsessed with myself if I'm just staring in the mirror. And she's like, no, I'm like, I used to be a stripper. I want you to stare at yourself. And it was this whole alchemy of like seducing myself in front of someone else and allowing them to see me do that. And that was really the next layer of liberation for me, was being seen in it. So I love that you're starting with people in their homes, because I really relate to that like part of the process. And that was like, and is still one of my greatest medicines, is just me dancing at home, seducing myself in the mirror is like my greatest love language for myself. I'm not as obsessed as I used to be, I have to say. It becomes like a more subtle embodiment these days, but like it's just so much medicine. So I'd love to ask you, you've already started connecting us, but how does this affect a woman's sexuality when she dances herself into those states of honesty, taking off the masks, taking away the performance, just doing what feels fucking good in her body? How does this affect her on a sexual level?
Beautiful. I have so much to say about unshaming ourselves in relationship in public, but like that can hold. How does it help you with your sexuality? First of all, you begin to love your body in a whole new way. I think a lot of women who suffer from, I don't like this about myself, I don't like that about myself, it's very emotionally dependent. And when you bring your emotions home as something like, pain, my friend, like it's you again, isn't it? We don't hate our bodies for showing us what we're feeling, but equally you start to really track the bliss inside of yourself in a way that's far more it's far more accurate, if you like. It's like right now I'm obsessed with my thighs or my hips, or it's moved to my chest or my arms. So when you start to practice that on the dance floor and liberate all those good feelings, when you're then with a lover, whether that's yourself or another human being, you are so much more aware of what is bringing you joy and how that moves through you. And I really recommend having sex with dancers. Because what you'll notice is they're friends with their bodies, but also that they are really aware of how you're moving, and you're aware of how you're moving as a dancer, and it becomes something, an alive, emergent moment. One of the biggest pitfalls, I think, for many people these days, particularly, is worrying about what they look like. The irony is, whoever you're with is after that wild part. And if you're worrying about the angle of your false eyelashes, it's very hard to access the wild part. Whereas if you're fucking drooling and groaning like a mad bitch, like you're probably on your way there. Keep going.
I absolutely love this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. The answer's always found slightly somewhere else, isn't it? You know, so when you've given permission for you to be a freak on the dance floor, when it comes to the bedroom, you are your own most liberated lover.
Yeah. 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 I will never forget, and neither will he. The night I met my husband was here on Tenerife, because this is where he lived, and now apparently I live here as well. But I was just on a innocent solo girls trip, spending some quality time with myself. Met this wonderful Italian man we got set up by a friend of mine. And anyway, after having our first date together, I invited him back to my Airbnb, and we were chatting and drinking some herbal tea, and he, came in for a kiss. And I then proceeded to do a striptease for him after discussing, the boundaries of sex and whether we were going to go there. And he said the next day, like, I'll never fucking forget that you did that. Like, never has a woman ever danced for me within like the first day of meeting me before we've even made love. And you're like doing a dance performance for me to take off your clothes. Like, it was so unhinged. And yes, I was sober. And it's like you said, they are looking for that wild. And the fact that I was so shameless of like, I'm gonna fucking like striptease my clothes off for this man and like dance for him, and I don't even really know who he is, but I'm just gonna do it. It's like that shamelessness, that wildness led him to probably in part pursue me across the fucking ocean for 1 year and marry me and do all the things that we've done together now, because that wildness and that honesty and that bravery, I see the bravery of women willing to take off the masks. And you can feel it when a woman's moving from performance like me, like you said, like me dance moves. You can really feel the difference between like me dance moves and this is me. I don't give a fuck what you think about it. And the world is fucking hungry for the authentic version of women. So fucking hungry. And this too much we're all afraid to be is actually really what will heal the fucking world and bring us back together. And I'm really glad that you're helping women and humans, but really women, to find that and unleash it all.
Charlotte's like, I'm really glad you're way too much.
Yeah,
I am. I fucking am. Absolutely. And what I wanted to add to that is like not outsourcing safety. You dance for him because also I imagine, and I'm curious, that you were also dancing for you.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to show you who I am. If you run, that's just information.
Yeah.
Like
It's a test.
it's not, yeah. It's like, if this is too much, I may as well let you know now. On the first date after herbal tea, because this is what you're going to get if you spend any more time with me. But you felt safe with you, and you were dancing with you, not for you. Were dancing for him, but you were dancing for you first and foremost. That's what he felt. This is how alive I am. And I love that you did that. But I bet you did not leave yourself through that dance. I bet you stayed with you. And that's why we keep dancing. That's the trick of staying at home in your body. So those moments are, if you watch their awareness leave, you're still here.
Yeah.
And that's a very feral place.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I think there's so much medicine to allowing someone to taste how much we are immediately so that we don't waste our time with someone who's going to try and shrink that. And to do that flavor test of like, does this person have the capacity for me in my intensity, in my depth, in how deep I want to go? Because that's another thing. I've told that story many times on the podcast of how deep I wanted it in the bedroom. And like, I very explicitly said, I cannot do this unless we're spending like the next 12 to 24 hours together, because I will not be fucked and then just gone,
Yeah.
So really bringing depth and feral. And I think the feral for me was probably the doorway into also displaying the vulnerability and the depth, because like you said, it's that internal sense of safety. And by the way, to anyone listening, yes, that was built up over multiple years. Like, I didn't just wake up and feel confident to do that. That inner safety that Chloe's just mentioned is a journey. And I think that this is how I really feel it in the bedroom. And I'd love to ask you more about this, because when you feel safe to be that flavor of woman, you can also bring it in the bedroom, and your sex gets much more honest and deep and connected, because you're allowing yourself to be seen. You know, like you can cry on someone's cock and you know they're not going to fucking run. You can just like, you can be angry and releasing with permission and conversation and communication and everything. You can let your emotions be present. So I'd love to ask, how can women move better in the bedroom, move more authentically, more intuitively, instead of this up and down performance that we might have seen on porn? And like, yeah, can you give us like a hot dance move for sex?
Yeah. Also, I'm like, timestamp, cry on cock. like, gonna go back to them. Can we cry on someone's cock and they not take it personally? And can they take it personally? You know, there
Yeah.
are cocks worth crying on, right?
Oh my
Like,
God, there are such attuned cocks. Like I will start crying on my husband's cock and he knows why I'm crying. And I'm like, I don't know. Like my pussy is obviously communicating with your cock right now, like a microphone. This is what's going on.
oh, so good. So good. I think there's a lot about when you are performing, your attention is on the outside. The best dance move that you can have in the bedroom is awareness on the inside.
Hey love, if you've been here listening to the podcast for a while and you've been thinking, fuck, I want to do what Charlotte does. I want to help women to reclaim their sexuality. Then I need to tell you about Priestess, my 3-month trauma-informed yoni massage training. Now, this work isn't for every woman, but it is for the woman who is done with the way the world treats the feminine. It is for the woman who will be the beacon of light and show us how to embody safe, slow, consented touch. It's for the woman who's been on her own sexual transformation journey and knows that we can no longer leave pussy out of spirituality. So if you desire to ignite a woman's aliveness, her erotic energy, and wake up her sexual power, you simply cannot leave pussy out of it. Her anatomy is the key, and yoni massage can change her fucking life in the bedroom and in her body in just one session. And guess what? Barely anyone is doing it. So I am starting a revolution of women who show other women how good their body gets to feel, how safe they get to be held with non-sexual sacred 3-hour ceremonies, which will, yes, add a beautiful, phenomenal premium offer in your healing business that allows you to go 10 times deeper with women and multiply your bank account, but it will also rearrange you as a woman. You will not make love in the same way again after learning tantric massage and yoni massage, because when you hold other women with this level of safety and sacredness and presence, you become the embodiment of it in yourself as a lover in the bedroom too. So if you're ready to finally walk away from the day job that splits your soul in half, that has you being a witch by night and a society bitch by day, then come and join Priestess. I only have incredibly limited spots for this yoni massage training. So if you are feeling the cool, I need you to send me a DM on Instagram saying Priestess, or email me hello@thewildfemme.com, Priestess, and I will get in touch with you. We will hop on a call and have a conversation, or you can go and listen to my last podcast episode all about the Priestess training. I cannot wait to share this with you, love, and revolutionize your entire freaking business, love life, wealth, bank account, and leadership, and allow you to become the witch you've always been meant to be.
So you are tracking sensation. And when you find a movement that increases pleasure, go with that. And it's a bit like you would give a heterosexual lover an instruction. It's like, don't speed up. Just stay there. So you're tracking in your body a pleasurable movement, but the attention is all on the inside. And when you find that place, you grow it. I also think release the hips, release the jaw, release the hips. So Oh my gosh. Once I was doing I was given an instruction, it was a new exercise, da da da. Anyway, the instruction was basically fucking pillows. And it got me into like the guys' camp, right? I was like, dudes, this is really cool. If you pound your pelvis on a pillow for a length of time, the level of turn on and charge is massive. So my takeaway from that exercise was also about the importance of really moving your pelvis, your yoni, your womb, getting going down there, because as soon as you're down there, you are further away from your head. So all of these dance moves that involve hips, whether it's left, right, forwards and back, tilting, just exploring down there in a no rush mode is a turn on for your partner anyway. But really move selfishly. Does it turn you on? Because like I'm sure you've had this, Charlotte. Like being next to someone who's coming, you can come because you're feeling the level of their turn on. Like it's just going to happen if you're wide enough open. So likewise, if you, as a woman, I would say encourage the selfishness of following your own turn on, because they will follow with you. You're going to take everyone deeper.
Yeah.
Have I answered your question?
Yeah, that was delicious. Oh my God, I feel myself getting turned on as we're talking
I
about.
really, I put on a tune before this show, and now I'm like, dude, we have to go on a dance floor together. Shit.
Get me humping pillows with this woman.
Yeah, yeah,
Someone.
yeah.
So I'd love to know what it's changed for you in the bedroom, how dance, how leading these spaces that you lead for this feral movement, how has it evolved your orgasm, your relationship to your womb and your pussy, and
Mm,
in self-pleasure or in sex with someone else? I'd love to
mm,
know.
mm. Yeah, first of all, I don't go with this like the amount of love that you can let in is the amount of love that you have for yourself. I don't go with that. Good lovers can really restore a love of your own body if they stay with you long enough. And I just want to put out that there for anybody who's like, I don't love my body. It's really hard to move my body. I hate the way my body looks. All of the stories that we all suffer from. You're not the only one. I would say in terms of dance floors and how it's unshamed my body for me that she became my friend. And it wasn't like that always. You know, I've always been an athlete. I've always she's always been on my side. But it was like in terms of anyone who's done a mirror practice, for example, and had a good look at what's between your thighs, like societal's imprint is on your body. And we have to reclaim that back. And for me, dance was a huge part of that to celebrate the communication of my thighs, to celebrate my fat ass or my thin thighs, to celebrate like the way my tits have changed over time. I'm a mother of two. It's like dance brings you into the feeling rather than how you look, and that level of unshaming and love and friending makes you a kind of relentless lover of yourself and others. It turns you on because you're more in touch with Eros in the sense of the everything that we are a part of. Like when I'm on my own, I get turned on really quickly just because I'm here.
Fuck yes.
And dance has done that for me, It's just like every moment is alive. So when when I move my body with myself, I'm looking for sort of sensory overwhelm in the most positive sense. And if there's emotions that I have to pass through in order to enter no mind, which is where I like to head to, is all a part of the glory of it. It's like, you ever had that feeling where you don't want to dance or you don't want to make love or you don't want to self pleasure? It's normally because there's a big fat monster sitting there that's called sadness or anger or rage or resentment or jealousy, all the juicy ones. And so it's beautiful to dance your way through that or to sex yourself through that. So I
Mm.
think dance has done that for me. I'm not scared of what I'm going to find, and therefore I can dive in very deep. It's my landscape I'm exploring. All of it's mine.
Yeah.
And whoever I invite there is a good person to be with.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's like, yeah, I think it's really a great reflection of what you just said, that when you don't feel in the mood, it's not because your body's broken, it's because there's something trying to protect you from feeling something. And so many women are saying they're numb, but it's just these layers and layers of armor. And that's why the work you do is incredible and so similar and aligned to the work I do with yoni de-armoring. This is like the biggest part of my work, is really releasing the armor on a physical level. And I know that dance can also do that, right? Through movement, we can, just like the massage that I'm giving to women to release the armor and protection built around their yoni, like is dance and movement also kind of shaking that armor and protection away? Like, how is that working on a somatic level?
Oh, certainly. Like Body Stories is my home place, and you do it very specifically with actually the courses you're running as well as the specific one-to-ones that you're offering. Um, I gave a talk recently on healing with movement, because the more you get into the accuracy of how you feel and how you move, you can have past content come up. The more you listen to your body, the more it starts to communicate with you. And if you're on a dance floor, it's like you can have fleeting images of things that happened to you or with you, or childhood experiences you had to move through, or even adult experiences. But I want to say you can be in choice about the lid that you lift off inside of yourself. So the caveat at the beginning of any dance is you can go as deep or as far as you want, and you can come back from any edge. So yes, I've visited my childhood heartbreak. I'm also a PTSD survivor. So there's times when I've taken dance very, very subtly, because the content is very, very raw, and slowly moved my way back onto dance floors, because if I were to just pop off on there like I normally do, I would flood myself with a trauma response, as opposed to like, oh babe, we are moving slowly, and you can move just your hands, and until your nervous system is calibrating towards safety again, to digest a little bit more of that sadness or that fear, or that pleasure. People are scared of their pleasure as well. If you've been told pleasure's evil, it's quite scary.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing is women afraid of joy, women
Yeah.
afraid of being
Mm,
happy. Like,
mm.
I can't possibly be happy. So many women I speak to have had that message in their childhood. And we're both from the UK. A lot of my listeners are from the UK, and it's very famous. Now I'm surrounded by no one from the UK, and it's very famously known that we in England, we bond over the negatives, how shit the weather is, how bad it is to be at work. You go to the checkout at the groceries, and someone's like, yeah, having a terrible shift, like we're bonding over the shit. And it's like, if we would audaciously go to the checkout and say, I had the best orgasm of my life this morning, how would that person react? I don't know. But there's like this fear of, again, this too muchness. And it also happens not just with pleasure, but with joy. So,
Yeah.
what would you say? Because I consider you a pro in this. What would you say to the woman who is so afraid to take up space with her like freakiness, with her joy, with her happiness, with her ecstatic aliveness, whether that's her sexuality or her power, or just this woman that you see absolutely fucking erupt on the dance floor? Like, what would you say to the woman that's holding it all back?
That's not what I'd say. What I would say, well, first of all, like what I said earlier about offering ourselves safety. You offer yourself safety. That's the safe space. All this, like, is it a safe space? Well, yeah, you do have to check out whether your environment is safe. Let's be real, particularly people in female bodies. But we're offering ourselves safety. So when you practice pleasure with yourself, or whether that's on a dance floor or in the bedroom, you start to, what I want to bring in is safety and then approval. Like, do I approve of the amount of joy that I'm inhabiting? As in my last newsletter, in fact, I wrote about this English phrase, Charlotte, you're going to get it. How are you? Not bad. Not bad is what English people say when you ask them how they are. Not bad. It's a fucking meager portion to live by. I am not living by not bad. I would rather like have the room like erupt and leave if I have to be not bad or joyful. It's like I'd rather be joyful, or you can all go if you want. But it's like it's a thank you to it's a thank you to being alive, to be joyful. So it's like giving yourself digestible portions until you, what I call, up your volume on your joy. Like, what if you're listening now, where are your settings like as a DJ? It's like, what volume control are you on? Are you like humming around 3, 4 out of 10 joy? And who told you that's what the portion that you were allowed? And do you want to move up your dial? Do you want to practice being 6, 7? And seeing how that feels in your body. Like, already my womb's turned on now, the center of my womb's gone pop, done. And then it's like, oh, do you want to push up to 8, 9? And then we want you to notice, did anything bad happen? Like, did your grandma walk in and shame you? Or did the woman at the checkout tell you that, like, can you dial it down? Or did she actually look up and go, wow, your eyes look great in that top? Like, instantly, I said that to someone earlier, but it's like, notice what we think will happen if we dial up our joy as opposed to what actually happens. Because that's the updated nervous system, is you noticing, oh, I'm on a 9, 10 joy, and actually what happened is like half the room hit on me and it felt great. Like, or whatever your version of safety would be, or approval. But at the moment, I'm working heavily with audaciously approving of my so-called mistakes, of I don't know, bad DJ mixes, of not sending the letter when I was audaciously approving. When you have that relationship with yourself, you immediately start to increase your joy. But I would practice those levels and choose your setting. Like, when you find yourself going to the meager, not bad level, do you want to be there? What turns you up? It could be your dog. It doesn't have to be like anything holy. Actually, my dog's holy. She might be listening.
Oh, you're very holy. Very, very holy.
Holy. Yeah. And I like to do funny things like, Banner, put a post-it up or put a bracelet on that reminds you you're on level 8 joy today. As a potential marker if you want to. And that your grandma's no longer here to tell you to stop smiling.
Yeah, really fucking good tips. Thank you. Really, really good tips. I know that I hit my joy ceiling this year. And it's funny the way I noticed I'd hit my joy ceiling. It was kind of my receiving ceiling. Like, business exploded, finances I didn't know I could ever make, and moved to a new country with a hot husband, arrived in this fucking lovely house with a fucking nice-ish car. I mean, it's a van, it's falling apart, but I love it. It's not a fancy car. I don't want a fancy car. I want that old, dusty car, but I love it.
Oh, that's my version of sexy anyway.
Yes, exactly. Character. Give me the old, falling apart car. But still, it was a lot to receive, like, wow, okay, I've now got this relationship and this house and this car and the business is taking off. And the way my system responded was by trying to latch on to the victim, trying to latch on to something being hard until someone gave me the slap in the face I needed to be like, babe, your life is fucking amazing. Just enjoy yourself. And I needed that slap in the face to expand my capacity to receive it all, because there was something in my system that couldn't quite receive it all. So I was trying to sabotage and push it away, Like the first time a bigger sale came in, the next day I felt complete collapse in my body. Like I was suddenly exhausted and couldn't do anything, which never happens to me. I don't take naps. I am so full of energy. Not saying it to brag, but I'm just someone that cannot nap. I'd love to nap. I'd love it, but I cannot. Yeah, you know. I cannot nap. But that day was like the once a year day that I might take a nap. And it was not a coincidence that it happened after expanding in another area, because there's this expand contract, and it's got to be like the gradual expansion that you're talking about is the safest way to do it. This is how we hear lottery winners going broke, because they get all of that cash in one instant and they sabotage it because they cannot hold it, because it was too much of an expansion in one go. And I think that your advice was really sound, to just slowly turn up the dial. How much more can I enjoy my coffee? How much more can I like take my time with that and just really sip it and just really deserve myself of this coffee, and not just shot it down my neck and get on with my day? Just expanding your capacity for pleasure and joy in the small moments is how I've also found myself being able to receive it, and getting the fuck out of the victim habit and noticing where we're hanging on to not bad, where we're hanging on to let me complain about something, or like, oh, something's really hard, even though it's like fucking great.
Yeah, it's really sweet, the sort of the after nap day, and it's like you're trying to crawl back into your comfort zone. And people don't always understand, although I'm sure your listeners do, the comfort zone can be something a bit intolerable from your childhood or your young adulthood. It's sort of like, it's like, oh, I'm used to poverty, therefore like best, get rid of the good job as soon as I've got it. But it's like noticing, oh, I'm safe with this new life of mine. I approve of this new life of mine. And it does take a bit of work, just like you say, to welcome in a new patterning within inside ourselves. And as a body story tracker, I'm always looking for the body logic. There is always logic there from the body. It's not the same as cerebral or cortical logic, but like there was your logic. I'm not used to having it this good. Therefore, I'm going to freak out slightly until I can calibrate myself there and actually say, no, I brought this on, and I'm gonna I'm gonna see it through. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, everyone go and get yourself like the most sparkly fucking bracelet to put on every day to remind you of what Chloe's just said, that it's okay. We don't need to protect ourselves. It's all these layers of armor and protection, like that just, yeah, they're very smart. They're just trying to love us,
Yeah, and keep us safe in our strange comfort zones. Do you know what I do, which I really love as well, is like if I'm like super tired or feeling a bit shit, I put on party clothes. Like, Monday morning or like end of Friday, it's just like whatever. It's just like, oh my God, I'm premenstrual. I feel like a hag. I'm like, right, where's the silver jacket and the platforms, or where's the like hot pants and the, it's like, because it gives a message to myself that's countering me getting really involved in that mindset. It's like, oh, you're tired and you look like a disco dude. Like, it just argues with like staying too long in that place. Once I felt it, like I'm free to move on, right?
Sacred woman, I need to invite you to touch your vagina. Yes, you heard me. This is the practice that changed my entire life. De-armoring or yoni mapping is the process of applying still, loving touch to specific energetic points on the inside and outside of your vagina and your vulva to release the trauma from the past that keeps you stuck in loops of sexual shame, faking it, pretending you can feel something whilst feeling numb as fuck in the bedroom. De-armoring allows you to release the past, the memories in your body of all the times that you were rushed, forced, and things were too fast. These create micro tears in the tissues of your vagina. Just like a knot in your shoulder, your beautiful pussy also stores tension. We are not taught that she needs love, not just sex. She needs to be held. And de-armoring is so life-changing because it is the ancient massage practice that allows you to hold this part of your body with no agenda, solely love. This will create a deep sacred bond with your body, one that allows you to actually feel when you're ready to be penetrated, so that you can hold better standards and better boundaries in the bedroom and have your body met in ways that are so deeply pleasurable and also feeling fucking sacred and not pushed or unmet or unsatisfied in the bedroom anymore. So I'm inviting you into Wise Nectar, my de-armoring program, where I have recorded you 4 bespoke journeys to release the trauma, the tension, the numbness, and the painful memories from your sexual past and be reborn into a beloved, deep, true, real, sacred connection with your pussy. It's time to claim the sex life and the bond with your body that you have always deserved. And it's only £4 to £7 because every woman deserves access to this practice. It will change your life. It will allow you to feel things you never thought you can feel. So the link's going to be in the show notes for you, my love. Please give yourself this time to just spend 45 minutes in stillness with your body to feel what she's ready to let go of. I love you. You're so brave for saying yes to this.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I have these purple heart-shaped sunglasses.
Oh, totally.
That's my go-to. If I'm having a shit day, they go on.
I think.
Suddenly the world is purple and I've got hearts in front of my eyes. Like I cannot remain grumpy in that state.
Yeah. And that's not gaslighting yourself. It's reminding yourself that something else is possible. So sometimes in my deepest heartbreak, and the heartbreak's real, it's like some days I've had all is like the pain in my chest, the pain. Yeah, my chest hurts. My chest hurts. My chest hurts. No story, just like my chest hurts. I know why my chest hurts. And sometimes I've deliberately stepped into a pleasure practice zone so that I've on purpose wired in the potential for pleasure even when my heart is breaking. To remind myself that ecstasy is always possible. Because what happens in the immature level of society that most of us is brought up in is we're told either you're happy or you're sad, either you're heartbroken or you're ecstatic. Actually, what I find is a far more roomy sense of things, which is in the field of love, everything exists. My heart is breaking and I am coming.
The best combo, everyone, by the way. Feeling all of the feels in every way.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that. And I think this is my current nuanced flavor on self-development and spirituality and the circles that we're in of like the divine feminine and all of the feminine embodiment. And there is a difference between feeling your emotions and completely collapsing into a victim of them. And there is somewhere in the middle that is much healthier. And I definitely used to be someone that was, when you're new to this work and you're like, oh my God, I've just gone from numb to feeling all of my emotions. But then you swim in them and you swim in them and you swim in them. And you kind of forget that this growth journey, this spiritual journey gets to be fucking fun and silly and like weird, and you get to laugh at some point at your deepest traumas as well. And
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. But you build an infrastructure, you build your own internal infrastructure, or with a very good facilitators along the way to build that capacity to hold all of that, which is ultimately satisfying, because in the end, the swimming that you're talking about is sort of like, oh, hang on, what else is possible?
Yeah.
And you get to laugh. Like, I think you referenced that post earlier that I wrote, was that why sovereignty sounds wanky, but it isn't. Because it's like, dudes, check us all out. Like, we're so up our own asses. And there is such goodness and truth in sovereignty. It's a really important concept, particularly for people in female bodies. It's like, oh my gosh, we're owned by society. We have to bring ourselves home.
Yeah, thank you. I love the layers you bring of all of it. And yeah, to anyone listening, I think that for me, there's been phases, there has to be a phase of also swimming in the grief and the heartbreak and feeling it all. There has to be a moment of collapse where you're on the bathroom floor and you can't get fucking up. And that's how we become the woman we are today. But
Mm,
like you said, remembering that both are available and trying not to completely identify with one thing because there are so many layers to us, especially as women. We're
mm,
so multi fucking dimensional. Like,
mm,
really, we get to
mm,
feel so many things.
mm.
So, I see you, woman, rising always. And you've been working with some really epic people in the industry and bringing dance into big spaces. I've seen you partner with Self Cervix. You've partnered with Layla Martin in Vita and brought dance to the Vita space. You've worked with Adriana at Art of Living. You've done some big collaborations, and I just want to celebrate the fuck out of you first and say, why should any woman listening that's on her sexuality journey also be dancing? Why are they essential to go together?
Oh, thank you. It's the lack of sisterhood wound going on here. It's like, you're doing great, sister. Yeah, I love your work. I love your work. Keep going, keep
Amazing.
going. It's like, let's crank this up. Yeah, I noticed being in the sacred sexuality spaces, having started in the dance space, a bit like what you were saying, you start in one place and move into the other. You started in non-performance spaces and moved into performance spaces. I started in dance, moved into sexuality. That there was a lot of performative dance going on in the sexuality circles. And what I loved about Self Cervix, Olivia Bryant's work, is she's all about what's happening on the inside, the interior. And I was like, I'm moving with the same thing. Like, let's do something together. And it's sort of trying to allow women to move from the inside was also what I wanted to offer Vita. Anyone who's worked with a lot of pleasure practices, also, it can get quite structured, and sometimes your body wants a freedom to move in its unravel itself in its own way. So for example, like your yoni massage training, like I would say that dance would be a contribution to that, because after you've had a yoni massage, there's a lot going on, and within the week, at some point in the week that followed it, a free dance space allows your body to weave, integrate, digest in a way that you're not following anybody else's formula. You're just listening to you and going, oh yeah, that place that she released in me hurt. I honor me. That place she released in me has me now in a level of pleasure with myself I didn't know was possible. I move with that now. So it's very, very integrative and celebratory and naughty and feral and all things good. And it's a truth telling place, which is, I guess, where me and Adriana meet. It's the raw truth telling. Like, I'm so fucking dangerous because of, in a good way, of the levels of truth that I entertain with my own body. I'm not running scared of what I find there, and therefore my levels of compassion are very, very high for the people whose spaces I hold, because they're brave. If you're working in sexuality or movement, you're brave because the content's strong and the reward is great.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm receiving that. Like, I'm receiving all your compassion right now. That was like a hug.
Yeah, yeah, you
Thank you,
feel it.
love.
Yeah.
So I'd love to close with a final question for, yeah, the woman listening who is ready for her next level of feral, who is ready for her next level of joy, who knows she's been sticking to her comfort zone, who's been feeling like she's playing it small. For the woman listening that knows there's so much more ecstasy and bliss and pleasure and aliveness available in her body and the bedroom. What is your closing message for that woman?
Write a love letter to yourself. You can just say it out loud in the shower if you want, or on the toilet. I don't mind. To what you would love to have happen for you. Like if you were your best friend, which I hope you are, what would you love to have happen to you? And if you wanted to do the shadow work side of it, what do you think will happen to you if you have that happen? Because often the little monster in the corner that says don't go there is just like a fluffy chihuahua or a lineage message. And actually, what happens if you bring on that level of pleasure, that much of yourself, goodness will happen. So we need to re-educate the part of ourself that is scared, that was just trying to stop you getting there. But what would you love to have happen for yourself? Like, for example, I would like to roll around in the sand with Charlotte. That reel you did with you rolling around in the sand, I'm just like, oh my God, I need to like bite your arm or something with sand on. I would love that to have happened to me. What do I think will happen if I have that? I'll feel hot, sandy, and happy.
Oh my God. You're so invited to bite my arm and come and roll around in the sand. I would love that. Every part
Yeah.
of it.
What would my ancestors say if they saw me rolling around in the sand with Charlotte? Probably that these days they would laugh because I have made peace with them.
Fuck yes. Here's to making our ancestors laugh their asses off at us because we are so at peace with them. That is beautiful.
Yeah, we are at the forefront of our lineages, Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
let's
are
go there. Let's
breaking,
go
breaking.
there.
Mm. Thank you so much for today. I had so much fun. Can someone just, everyone get in the presence of this woman? Wow, what a gift. What a gift you are to the planet. Where can everyone find you? Where can they dance with you? Where can they unleash their joy with you?
Well, anyone who heard me on this podcast, just hit me up because I'll give you a free ticket to Body Song, which is my online dance space. Let's do that. Let's have fun. Like, come to Body Song. It's a monthly women only dance space. We are getting naked. Your cameras can be off if you feel shy. If you've never danced before, you're going to get loved on arrival and throughout. And you can find me on Instagram at feral.grace. There's lots of fun there. That's how weirdly me and Charlotte found each other, even though we were in the county next door to each other.
I know, 1 hour apart and yet Instagram. Wow, thank you so much. That's really generous. I want to join Body Song, so I will be sending you DMs as well. And everyone reach out to Chloe at feral.grace. All of the links will be in the show notes for your Instagram. And then we'll all be dancing together in the next months. I can't fucking wait for that.
That is so funny. Thank you so much, Charlotte. I've had fun. And yet we haven't even talked about how we alchemized our darkest hour into our greatest expansion. We can do that another time. That is what we stand for.
That is what we stand for. And somehow we just focused on like the hot, spicy fun.
Thanks so much. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you, love. And yeah, everyone get in touch with Chloe, reach out, get in her space, get in her face. She's great.
Get in my face.
That's the invitation, everyone. Get in her face.